Locked On Podcast Network presents Locked On Sports Today.
To the Western Conference Finals. The Oklahoma City Thunder crushed the Nuggets in Game 7 to advance to the Western Conference Finals. Also, what's next for Nikola Jokic and Denver after coming up short? Plus, Scottie Scheffler dominated the PGA Championship.
I'm Peter Bukowski, starting your day with the can't-miss stories and biggest debates in sports. You're Locked On Sports Today.
Searching all major sports. Found.
Let's start with the biggest story.
It was a nip and tuck first half of Game 7 between Oklahoma City and Denver, and then the Thunder defense just started to suffocate the Nuggets offense, pulling away ultimately a 125-93 win. That was almost a 40-point lead at one point. Rylan Stiles was in the arena. He's back now, but he joins us now. And Rylan, it feels almost silly to say what was different because they lost the last game. So everything was different. But what was the key? What was really what changed here?
I think the biggest thing that changed was that, one, they once again changed their defensive look on Nikola Jokic. And, I mean, he had figured out the double big stuff. He had figured out the J-Will curveball, and now had to deal with a heavy dose of Alex Caruso, who just disrupted him with his harassing style of play, getting into his body, swatting at his arms, taking away entry passes, not letting him have a clean catch. And it really hurt his ability to be effective and even simply take shots. In the whole third quarter, which he played all of it, he took one field goal attempt. Like, they just outright took him out of the game in that regard. And then you saw offensively a team that settled down as the game went on, and role players typically play better at home, but specifically Jalen Williams, who had one of the worst games box score wise of his career in Game 6. And then in Game 7 is an electric factory the entire time because he was more forceful at the rim. So those two things were the biggest turnaround.
And Jalen Williams in particular, turning defense into offense. I mean, how many, just in the last 2 minutes, dunks did he get just because of defense, energy, and being able to run out? Well, how much of this was, hey, look, this is it. And we know Oklahoma City all year has been able to play with that defensive intensity, but there were times when Denver was able to get what they want, and they have Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray, and they're really hard to defend. But this felt like a game where they were able to play to their identity and play all out.
Yeah, you're completely right. What's the best way to solve a laboring half-court offense? Don't ever get in the half court. Like, force yourself to be in transition the entire time. And the Thunder forced 22 turnovers in this game from the Denver Nuggets, and it became a transition track meet, which is not where Denver wants to play. The 22-9 turnover gap was jarring. It was loud, and it allowed the Thunder to continue to pile on the points, and also did not allow for Denver to get set up into their zone a ton, because you can really only set that up after a made bucket when you're taking the ball out of the net. And it got guys like J-Dub going. J-Dub also had some nice mid-range jumpers that bounced his way that didn't bounce his way before, but primarily him and Cason Wallace and a lot of these guys were feasting in transition.
Yeah, and I want to give credit to Matt Moore, our Locked On Nuggets host, because he said after Game 6, the key in Game 7 is going to be the turnovers. And he was absolutely right. He said if Denver could play to even or a little ahead in the turnovers, that they would win. That's not what happened. I want to ask you a hypothetical that is unfair, Rylan, but let me do it anyway. I think there was a prevailing school of thought here that if Oklahoma City was going to win, it was going to be like this. They were just going to pull away. And if it were a close game, the Nuggets would win. Did you feel that way? And do you now still feel that way?
Yeah, I think that you especially felt that way before the series began. You look at how Game 1 went down. You look at how Game 3 went down. Those were the first two close games of the series. But then the Thunder did win close games in Game 4 and Game 5. But in a Game 7, when things get tight, if the Nuggets could have kept this close and you put a world of pressure on a team that, with all due respect to Denver, this still would have been an upset win for them, even though they've been there, done that. Like, this would have been an improbable win, especially when you look at
68-win team.
It's a 68-win team with the best point differential in NBA history. And you have a 6-man rotation with two guys that have brutal ailments. Like, credit to Aaron Gordon, credit to Michael Porter Jr. for gutting it out and actually playing, but they clearly could not be as effective as they wanted to be because of the injury. So if they still could have pulled off this win, like there was little to no pressure on Denver in a way, even though it's a winner take all game 7, and all the pressure on a young Thunder team that, the first time that they would have been able to come through in that spot, would have been tonight. But in general, the Thunder were able to make up for another not so great shooting night, 30% from 3 in a blowout win, because they stayed true to their defensive identity. And they go on these avalanche-like runs, similarly to what the Warriors used to do with their threes. Only the Thunder do it with turnovers, because in a blink of an eye, you start to turn it over, you can't quit turning it over, and those are just easy points, and you end up with a 27-point fast break night from OKC, which was the difference in this game. But yeah, I mean, if the Nuggets could have kept this close, you certainly would have found out more about what this team is made of. But ultimately, they've done a good job of growing in this series. Game 4 and Game 5 especially proving that they can win tight games.
Yeah, and by the way, the Boston Celtics just won a title, and they did not have to play a close game basically in the finals to get a win. So it might not matter here. Rylan, give me just your blink test key for the Western Conference Finals. Now, Minnesota Timberwolves waiting on deck.
It's going to remain turnovers, because I still have a lot of questions about this Thunder half-court offense. And if you had trouble with Denver's zone, oh my goodness, go check out Locked On Wolves and what they're proud of with their defense. Not only do they have a way better rim, but they have 3 better rim protectors than you saw all series long in Denver that they have in Minnesota. And they play zone better than Minnesota has. Than Denver's played zone in Minnesota. And they have Anthony Edwards, who we know is a big game player. So I would say it remains, can you keep getting out in transition? Can you keep flustering guys like Conley and Edwards to turn the ball over with some of the shaky depth that they have at that table setting position? And if you can, then things will go really good for you. And you, of course, can't turn it over yourself. But ultimately, it's going to still be turnovers and 3-point percentages, because the only way that Minnesota will stop playing zone, I think, is if you're hitting your threes. And the Thunder have not proven yet that they can hit threes in the postseason.
You can stay up to date all year on the Oklahoma City Thunder by subscribing to Locked On Sports Today and Locked On Thunder on YouTube or your favorite podcast app. Your Locked On Sports Today coming up. It was an ugly performance in Game 7 from the Nuggets. Before we get to that, a significant blow dealt to the Phillies bullpen. Ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. Track all of your accounts, investments, and spending in one place, so you stop just managing your money and you start building wealth. Instead of juggling multiple apps, you can use Monarch to check your finances, track spending, and even plan long-term goals. Managing money with your partner is smoother than ever. You can track shared and personal accounts, set goals, and stay on the same page without the stress. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNFL at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONNFL for half off your first year. Jose Alvarado's heater made top 99 miles per hour, but now he's got a hard stop, 80 games. The Phillies reliever has been suspended for testing positive for exogenous testosterone, costing him half his $9 million salary and a shot at October. The club says it stemmed from an off-season weight loss drug, but unintentional or not, the bullpen just took a major hit. Elsewhere in baseball, the Mets and Yankees hit a rubber match in the Subway Series.
After dropping an annoying game on Saturday in which they couldn't score late, the Yankees were trying not to do the same thing on Sunday night because everything seemed familiar on Sunday night, didn't it? I'm Stacey Gotsulias of Locked On Yankees, and yeah, the game was tied 2-2 late because this series basically showcased strong pitching on both sides. And Sunday night was no exception between Max Fried and David Peterson. In fact, Max Fried gave up 3 hits to the Mets, and the Yankees bullpen, the guys who followed him, did not give up any hits. Kind of amazing. But the Yankees blew up for 6 runs in the 8th inning to pull away and win the finale of the Subway Series. The big blow, Cody Bellinger's grand slam. Cody Bellinger batting a respectable .258. Considering what he looked like in April, that is really, really good. So we will talk about that on the next Locked On Yankees. Plus, previewing Texas because they're coming to town.
Panthers battled the Leafs for a spot in the East Finals.
Panthers in 7. What is up, guys? Armando Velez here from the Locked On Florida Panthers podcast, here to quickly break down the Panthers' 6-1 win over the Toronto Maple Leafs to advance to the Eastern Conference Final, as the Panthers cleaned up everything in the neutral zone, limiting the Toronto Maple Leafs' rush chances. Panthers started off with the first 25 shot attempts and 7 shots on goal. Leafs countered with 7 straight shots on goal and a few breakaway opportunities from their fourth line. Panthers were able to neutralize the top line of Matthews and the Tavares line, and the Panthers started to go more north-south, and it manifested in 3 goals in the second period. The stars came to play. Seth Jones, Brad Marchand, acquisitions from the trade deadline, and the Panthers were able to get to Joseph Woll, make his life uncomfortable, and the Panthers found a way to win a Game 7 and wear the team down, something that Paul Maurice likes to preach. We're going to break all this down on tomorrow's edition of the Locked On Florida Panthers podcast, your team every day.
And the WNBA is investigating reports of hateful fan comments allegedly directed at Angel Reese during Saturday's game between the Chicago Sky and Indiana Fever. Reese, who was booed throughout the game, declined to comment. The league's newly launched No Space for Hate initiative is now being put to the test just days after its unveiling. The WNBPA says it expects swift and appropriate action. Meanwhile, both Reese and Clark have downplayed the incident on the court. The same can't be said for what happens in the stands. Nikola Jokic was the only Nugget to show up in Game 7 versus Oklahoma City. Locked On Nuggets host Matt Moore and Ryan Blackburn recapped a frustrating yet incredible series during a post-game live.
All right, Ryan, take it away. Because, look, I did watch this game. I don't have a lot of takeaways.
Yeah.
They ran out of gas. They ran out of gas. I will say I've been trying to fight the good fight on Twitter for Nuggets fans. I'm not here to listen about how Alex Caruso solved Nikola Jokic. Do not do this. I've been asking Jokic about small guards defending him since 2019. This dude's seen it before. Caruso's nothing special on that end. A lot of really good defenders, given that whistle, are able to defend that way. You want to know how you counter it? You get other guys involved with their worst matchups because the bigs are guarding them, but the Nuggets were unable to do that. So despite the fact that I am oftentimes pleading for us to hold some sort of level of accountability for Jokic, even as amazing as he is, this is one instance in which I'm like, no, guys, no. This is on the other guys to punish those matchups. That is my one and only contribution to this conversation. Other than that is they ran out of gas. Ryan, what did you think?
It's basically that. I just wanted to make sure that we covered the beginning of this thing and just make sure to close it out with an unfortunate game recap here. Yeah, Denver got off to a great start. The fact that Aaron Gordon was out there deserves a ton of credit. He's fighting through this, and it was just very impressive to watch him, despite the fact that he was limping up and down the floor doing what he needed to do. I thought that Christian Braun brought it in this game. I thought that he helped them start off in a really big way. He was built for the moment, and it's unfortunate that that's going to kind of get lost in this thing. Nikola Jokic, I thought, started off pretty well. He was drawing a lot of fouls. I thought the way that they were guarding him, he was able to get some foul calls, but those foul calls definitely dried up a little bit in the second quarter and then into the second half. I thought that Murray and Porter really did not have a good game. I'm going to leave it there. And then I thought that Westbrook, Watson, and Strawther were certainly not ready for the Game 7 environment. It did not fare well in what was a pretty ugly bench performance for the Nuggets in a big moment. You could really see OKC's depth shining through, and they got some uplifting performances from their guys, including Alex Caruso, who was plus 40 in 26 minutes. That's a tough one. But look, Denver gave everything that they had. I don't have any qualms about the way that this season finished. And I think that's the way that they went out. It was a reasonable way for this thing to go, despite the fact that it hurts a lot.
Swiper, what'd you think?
I think the players deserve a lot of credit. They battled through a lot. I think never in NBA history, literally, 3 games left in the season, you fire your head coach who won a championship for 10 years. You let go of your GM, not to bring him back. You have a coach who won more playoff games. He's won 7 playoff games. It's twice as many as his career regular season record with 3. That's never happened.
Crazy.
You had your small forward go down with an injury in game 2. Played through that. Bruce AC joint that he averaged 9 points a game this whole playoff run, shot under 30% from 3 as the Nuggets' best off-ball shooter. Aaron Gordon had a terrific playoffs, and then literally at the end of game 6, last minute, strains his hamstring, and then he comes into game 7. He fights anyway, has 11 rebounds, leads the Nuggets in rebounding. They deserve credit. Christian Brown had a terrific first half. He looked like a man in the first half. Dunk on Chet Holmgren, was doing everything, hitting 3-pointers, was making OKC pay for overloading on Jokic. He looked like he took a player that took a step. That's a player you can win with. So the Nuggets give a lot of credit for what they did. I feel like this team, they took one of the best teams ever to 7 games and lost. So that deserves a lot of credit for it. But on the other end, definitely frustrated because I think they could have won this series. In some ways, I think they should have won the series, but that's me. I picked the Nuggets to win in 7. But overall, the things that I did say about this team going last for a year now have all came true over the course of this game 7. So it's unfortunate. Also Westbrook also played really well for a large majority of the season. I think the injuries got to him right around the All-Star break, and then now he has a hand injury and stuff as well.
That's true.
So, yeah, definitely a lot of things happen. Great development from Zeke at times, Peyton Watson at times, Julian Strauss at times, but just consistency wasn't there.
Hey, man, they got Zeke Naji got on the floor for 10 minutes. Their 5th highest paid player.
Stay up to date all year on the Denver Nuggets by subscribing to Locked On Sports today and Locked On Nuggets on your favorite podcast app and on YouTube. Coming up, Scottie Scheffler separated himself from the pack on the final day of the PGA Championship. There were a couple tense moments on Sunday at Quail Hollow, but ultimately Scottie Scheffler put the doubts to rest. An 11 under, a 5-stroke win to capture his first PGA Championship. And it's not just this win. There have been a lot of next players since Tiger Woods. Rory McIlroy, Jordan Spieth, Colin Morikawa even over the last few years. Brooks Koepka went on his run when Dustin Johnson won his U.S. Open and then followed it up a few years later at the Masters. We wondered, okay, could it be here? No one has really come close. No one has really come close to Tiger Woods until now. And if that seems like hyperbole to you, over his last 4 seasons, Scottie Scheffler has 45 top 5s. He has 18 wins. He's got 3 major titles. He's got a gold medal. How about just young gun career? In his first 22 major starts, Scottie Scheffler has 3 wins. That's the same number as Jordan Spieth. That's more than Rory McIlroy. Tiger Woods had 5. In his first 22 majors, Scottie Scheffler has 6 top 3 finishes. Tiger Woods had 7. Jordan Spieth had 7. How about in those first 22 majors? Scottie Scheffler has 13 top 10s. Tiger Woods had 11. Rory McIlroy, Jordan Spieth, Xander Schauffele, they had 8. He's not just the best player in the world right now. He is the best player since Tiger Woods. And his ball striking last year was the best ball striking season since Tiger Woods. If he could putt anything close to Tiger Woods, he would have had a Tiger-like run of wins. It is fitting that Scottie would win the major after Rory McIlroy gets the Grand Slam, because the next guy who's going to get the Grand Slam is going to be Scottie Scheffler. And I promise you, it will take him way shorter than it took Rory. The reason that that is delicious from a golf history standpoint is because Rory was, when he showed up on scene, the closest thing to Tiger Woods since Tiger Woods. His ability to shut down a golf course with his length off the tee, with the brilliant iron play that he could put together. A wedge game that just gave him every opportunity to win against anyone, anytime, anywhere. Couldn't sustain it. Scottie Scheffler doesn't have that sort of overpowering game. he plays every round like Tiger Woods on Sunday. No mistakes. And I'm going to hit enough good shots. You're not going to be able to catch me. Sunday, it looked gettable at Quail Hollow. There was a moment in time where Jon Rahm was just a shot back. And it never really felt in doubt. Scheffler immediately went on to make birdie. Rahm went on to make a slew of bogeys, and the tournament was all but over. That was what Tiger Woods used to do. I'm not saying Scottie Scheffler is going to be the next Tiger. But right now, he is the next great player on the PGA Tour, perhaps greater than Rory was, than Jordan Spieth was, than Brooks Koepka was. The key is sustaining it. And because he doesn't rely on the Houdini recoveries that Jordan Spieth does, or the length that Rory does, that can wane at times, Scottie Scheffler is set up better than any of them to sustain this success. I'm not saying he's going to win 14, 15 majors, but he is the next best since Tiger Woods. And he has a chance to pass some of the other all-time greats. What Scottie's doing right now is remarkable. It is all-time great. And he's only just getting started. We mentioned Caitlin Clark's game against the Chicago Sky. In that game, Caitlin Clark had her 9th 20 and 10 assist game in her career. That is the second most in WNBA history. Courtney Vandersloot has the most. She has 10. In 430 games, 10, 20, and 10 contests. Caitlin Clark is now tied for second. She's played 41 games. The other player to have 9, Diana Taurasi. It took her 565 games. Diana Taurasi is maybe the best WNBA player ever. Maybe the best women's player ever. Caitlin Clark has matched the 20 and 10 games that she had in the WNBA in a season and change. Speaking of greatness, we are in for it with Caitlin Clark. If you're catching this episode after hearing your favorite Locked On show, make sure to subscribe to Locked On Sports Today on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss an episode. Also, if you're a new subscriber to Locked On Sports Today, we're here for you with the biggest stories in sports every day. Coming up, can the Pacers keep it rolling in the Eastern Conference Finals? So at least until tomorrow, stay locked on sports today.
Locked On Podcast Network presents Locked On Sports Today.
For more episodes of Locked On Sports Today, go to our video on demand. Click on sports at the top of your screen. There, you'll find past episodes of Locked On Sports Today, plus other Locked On shows on demand.